Delirium, also known as Le Forte di Gioia, is a 1987 Italian horror movie starring Serena Grandi. And in the first, let's say, 2 minutes, it lets you know exactly what you're about to get into. As it is about 2.5 minutes of uninterrupted, cheesy 80s pop music, intercut with pictures of the lead actress, basically showing off her tits the whole time. And that's basically lets you know what you're about to see for the entire film. Well, more or less, anyway. So, yeah. The reason why I wanted to watch this movie in the first place, honestly, um, I don't know. I just wanted to start watching Giallo movies. I'm not even sure if that's how you pronounce the word, but the movie is basically about our lead actress here, Serena Grande. I cannot remember. Well, oh yeah, she's Joya. She's Joya. She runs this men's magazine called Pussycat, right? It's basically like Playboy or Hustler, like one of those kind of like selling sex to guys kind of thing. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, this killer starts roaming around her city and killing models that appear in her magazine, and like takes pictures of the models' dead bodies posing next to pictures of Joya when she used to model. And this really puts a lot of attention on Joya herself and on her magazine Pussycat, and they start selling off, like selling like crazy because of all the hype around it and stuff, right? And of course, it's this mystery of who's the killer. Are they gonna come for Joya next? And they're trying to figure out who the killer could be, trying to keep Joya safe, and just regular horror movie stuff. You can kind of see where it goes from there. So is this movie good? No, it is not a good movie. But it's also not a bad one. So, just to get into the nitty gritty, let's just start with the negatives because I like to end things off with the positives. So, the first negative that I have, the movie is flatly executed and it has a generic story. Nothing about this film is surprising. Nothing about this film is even remotely interesting. Well, except for a few things that I'll name later. But most of the things in the film are not interesting, are not surprising, are not anything innovative or anything. And honestly, to make a good horror movie, you don't need anything innovative or anything like that. It just needs to be well executed formula. That's all any basic horror fan, any like decent horror fan would expect from a good horror movie, to be well executed formula. They can expect everything. They can, predict the entire story, but as long as it's well executed, most people will be satisfied. I would be satisfied, but that's not what happens in this film because I don't know. It just didn't feel as if they had much focus on anything but the absolute minimum, like the absolute minimum, and even that stuff they just didn't do so well. Just everything, like the cinematography didn't stand out at all. The story is very very it's very cliche. It's as you would expect it, and it's just not well done. It's just like the special effects look really cheap. Well, I can't calm that down on special effects. I don't know what the money for this movie was, what the budget was, or anything like that. I'm pretty sure it was pretty low, given the whole thing looks like a softcore porn movie, honestly. But well, not even well. Softcore porns have pretty good budgets. Yikes. Yeah. Oh, and plus it's the '80s, so there weren't really like softcore porn movies like that happened later on. It looks like a typical '80s horror movie, honestly. With but honestly, even less interesting because I've seen some actual like old school '80s, '70s porn movies that have better like cinematography and better acting. And wow, what are we even doing right now? Let's talk about the movie. Okay. So yeah, that's basically my first negative. It's very like it's a formula that isn't well executed. That's basically that point in a nutshell. Whatever. Point number two for the negatives, we have some bad kills. All right, literally, there's only one good kill in the movie, and it's with the Italian model, singer, superstar. What's her name? What is her name? Selena? Oh wow, no, that is disrespect right there. Not Selena. It's Sabrina. Sabrina Salerno. Yeah, she was a really big star. Well, at least in more European countries back in the 80s. She was a really big Italian star, mostly because she was really hot and really beautiful. She's even still beautiful today, but yeah, back then she was especially hot, right? So that's why she's in the movie. And she had the literal only good death scene in the film where these beasts attack her and really punch her face up good, and she's got this really good swollen face special effect on her face, right? It looks really good, and it's a really effective death, and the only one that looks genuinely painful. Everything else either happens off screen or the camera just doesn't capture it well, because I mean, like, they're just lazily done, honestly, because for a Giallo film, you know, like the idea is for it to be graphic, the idea is for it to be pretty bloody, and while there is blood in the film, it's not nearly as much as I was expecting, and I'm not, you know, like one of those like gore hounds out there who needs to have really bloody, just gushing horror films out there or anything like that. I'm not attracted to that kind of thing, but you know, being a Giallo movie, I had certain expectations, and those expectations certainly weren't met. And even when it just comes to just basic good kills, they just weren't there. Everything was too simple or too weird. Well, there's no such thing as too weird. But yeah, but anyway, there was this interesting thing though, that I forgot to write in my notes here, about the killer. He hallucinates his victims as eyeballs or something like that. I don't know, that's kind of weird. I don't know what that was about, but it seemed to have some sort of commentary with it. I don't know what they were really going for. It's not explained, it's not delved into really. It just kind of happens. I guess we as the audience are supposed to pick up on it, but I just didn't pick up on its meaning, but I'm sure it means something. I don't know, but it was just an interesting thing. But yeah, just overall the kills are really bad, whether from the camera work or just lazily executed. Except for that B scene, every single one of these kills suck, right? So yeah. Third point for the negatives, we have it has a boring atmosphere. Everything, well this kind of ties into the first negative of it being a flatly executed film, is that one thing that your horror like every horror movie needs to get right in order to be a good horror movie is the atmosphere. You need to really nail an atmosphere for your film to really like thrive in, and really like have that sort of identity for it to be an effective film, at least in my opinion, right? And this film just did not do that. They like, I don't know, it just like played everything up as a total cliche and just like total theatrics, in my opinion. Every time the killer would be around, you know, the music would pick up, and the like fog machine would seemingly go haywire and fog up the whole scene and ruin all the kills and stuff, right? So it just seemed as if it was trying to play everything kind of safe, everything too safe, honestly, and it just didn't really nail down an attitude. It just didn't really nail down an atmosphere that really grabbed me, because for me, like, honestly, I think that is the most important thing for any horror movie. There have even been bad horror movies in the past that I sort of appreciate just because they have really great atmospheres about them, and they really nail down this feeling of what they're trying to get across, whether it's confusion or just like pure just dread and terror and hopelessness. Those kind of like isolating atmospheres that like really solidify your film are really, really important, and they're just not present in this film. My fourth and final negative about the film would have to be the slow pacing. This movie is only an hour and 30 minutes long, which for a very basic, very cliche horror movie is the perfect runtime, right? Thankfully it is that short, but that's not a good thing. Well, I mean, yes, it is a good thing. I don't know what I just said. While it being a short movie is a good thing, somehow they still got the pacing wrong. Because there are so many points in the film where it just gets boring and just dead the entire time. There like in the entire movie there's like 5 kills maybe. There's like 5 kills maybe. And since they don't stand out much, it just blends in with the whole like very too laid back, like too safe, too just like leisurely pace of the entire feature, in my opinion. And it just drags the entire thing down and just makes it pretty like just it's just kind of like a whatever kind of attitude that the film has about every single thing that happens, even when the music picks up for the kills, even when everything's all hectic and characters are running for their lives. Everything feels a bit too planned, a bit too, fake, honestly, and as a movie, you especially cannot afford to feel fake, as if, yeah, this is a movie, these are people playing characters in the film, they're not really dead, they're not really, getting hurt or being stung by actual bees, they are just playing a part. That's the entire vibe of the film, that these people are acting, because their acting is just so bad. But yeah, that's my number one negative about the film right there. It is the slow pacing. It just amplifies everything that I just said that was bad about the film. Everything from the flat execution, the boring atmosphere, the bad kills. Yeah, just it having this very leisurely pace about everything, even though it's a really short movie, really sticks out to me and just like really brings the entire production down in my opinion. So yeah, let's end things off on a positive note. Let's move into the positives about the film. My first positive about the film, we have some good special effects. All right, while I just said, wow, I just realized that I pulled my entire back. While I just said that all of the kills are bad, right, except for the one, there is one good special effect in the entire film, and that would have to go to Sabrina Salerno's death. All right, her character's name is actually Sabrina. She's literally credited as herself, so it's like she actually did that in the movie. That's kind of cool, honestly, because she was. Anyway, Sabrina's death, like with the brother of Joya, failing to have sex with her, then leaving her, and then she goes to the shower to take a bath, but then some bees get let in and she gets stung to death, right? That was the only genuine, good, well-executed scene in the entire film, honestly. And the special effects that it did for her face were genuinely, not shocking or scary or anything even close to that, but they were good. They were, really good special effects. That's about as much as I can praise that. So let's move on. My second and final positive about the film, and I really wish that I did not have to say this. I honestly, it fills me with no pleasure at all to say that the second and most positive thing about this film are the beautiful women. All right, I have never done this before where I praise the looks of someone in the film as a positive about the film, because that is really really shallow. But I honestly did not just want to have one good thing to say about this movie. So it's the best that I can do. I'm sorry. And honestly, if you look at it the right way, if I didn't mention the looks of these women as a positive about the film, then I would be being, you know, disingenuous, honestly, because it is a positive about the film. It is a very serious positive about the entire film. It's a very shallow one, but it's also the only other one that they have. So it's the only other one that I can mention. Sorry. So yeah, it is no secret. As I show like pictures of the film as I'm reviewing it and stuff, that this is a film that is filled with beautiful women. All right. Two in particular, Sabrina, because she is just smoking hot throughout the entire feature. Although she is only in a couple of scenes, she leaves a very big impact because she is as hot as she is, right? But definitely the centerpiece, the crown jewel, the cherry on top is Serena Grandi, our lead actress as Joya. Her acting is not that good. It's decent, honestly. It's fine. Maybe probably there's a language barrier here. So I had to watch with subtitles, but from what I could see, her acting was decent. But her looks definitely steal the show because she is beautiful, especially in that final scene in the film, which is really shallow of them, honestly, to do that to her, because because the villain, like, she finally comes face to face with the villain. He's about to kill her, probably, most likely, and he basically unclothes her as she's running away from it, right? And of course gets her all wet and stuff, so the stuff is, like, showing through and stuff. So yeah, that was really shallow of them to have that in the film. But I would also be lying if I was saying that that was not a positive about the film. So yeah, that's basically all of my thoughts about the film. Bad pacing, most of the special effects, aren't that good, but there was one good special effect, and of course, it was flatly executed. Very cliche movie, boring atmosphere, bad kills, just a very so kind of horror movie. But even with there being mostly negative stuff that I said about the film, I still can't look you in the face and say that this is a genuinely bad. Well, yeah, I actually can't say that it's a genuinely bad horror movie, but I can't say that it's a terrible horror movie. I can't say that, honestly, because it just doesn't stand out that much in order for me to really feel that strongly about it. Everything moves at such a leisure pace that I don't even have that strong feelings about the film itself. There's nothing to feel strongly about because nothing stands out, nothing about it except the one good special effect that it has, and the movie is filled with beautiful, like, Italian models and stuff. So of course that's gonna be a good thing. But everything else is just meh. It's just bland. It's just passive, and that's what really brings the film down, in my opinion. So yes, so that's basically all of my points on Delirium / La Foto di Gioia. Not a good film at all. If I had to rate it, I would probably give it like a 4.5 out of 10. Not terrible. I've definitely seen worse, but I have also most definitely, absolutely seen a million times better than this film. It is not worth your time at all, unless you're just, like, I don't know, just if you're looking for a bad old excuse for a Giallo movie with some, like, softcore tendencies, and I guess, yeah, you could definitely look at this and give it a shot or whatever. But other than that, to that very niche audience, then you really have no reason to watch this movie. It's not worth going back to. It's not worth your time, your money, anything like that. So those are my thoughts on the film. Beautiful women, one good special effect, but still just an overall bad film. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to know when I upload next. This has been First Night the Exorcist, and I'll see you all next time. God bless.